I'm curious, rank your top 5 quarterbacks in this draft. What do you got?
Okay, this is a really interesting quarterback class, but if I had to rank them from 1 to 5, I would go Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, and then Mac Jones. And the reason the top 4 guys are in that order is because Trevor Lawrence has always been celebrated as QB1, but if you go back and dig into high school, it's always been 1A, 1B with Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields, and sometimes their order was flipped. When we've seen those two guys on the field compete against each other, some would say that Justin Fields was the best guy on the field. And so I believe both of those guys are unique, transcendent talent that are going to have immediate success in the National Football League. Zach Wilson is kind of a Johnny-come-lately, tremendous arm talent and athleticism, big-time basketball player in high school, kind of plays the game in a way that reminds you of how Aaron Rodgers shines at his best. Not saying that he's that guy, but he gives you traces of that talent when you watch him at BYU. Trey Lance is really a small school standout, big, fast, physical, a guy who had Power 5 offers as an outside linebacker and safety, but plays quarterback. High IQ, plays in a multiple system that has produced quarterbacks, Carson Wentz, Easton Stick, who really understand the NFL system. Mac Jones is a little bit of the outlier because he doesn't have the dazzling arm talent or the athleticism of each guy, but he's a point guard. He distributes it. He gets the ball out of his hands. He allows his playmakers to do their work. And for a coordinator who wants to play the game like a video game with Mac Jones as a joystick, it works. So all 5 guys can have success, but fit ultimately will determine what kind of careers each of these guys have.
What about the tape? If I take physicality and say, you're not going to run the 40, you're not going to vertical jump, you're not going to do a 3-cone drill. If you just look at the tape, who has to rank the tape in order?
I ranked it in order how I saw it. Trevor Lawrence is unique. He kind of reminds me of Justin Herbert plus a little more sizzle than Justin Herbert, but he plays like that. When I look at Justin Fields, the comparison will be to Dak Prescott, which is polarizing, which is also why his evaluation may be polarizing to some. Big, physical, tough guy persona. You see that toughness when he plays, takes flicks, looks down the barrel of a loaded gun and doesn't flinch. He's a big-time playmaker. Also, he was a big-time baseball player. You've seen how that's played out for Russell Wilson and Pat Mahomes. Zach Wilson played against lesser competition, so it's not really an apples-to-apples comparison when you compare him to the other two. Okay. That said, the talent jumps. Touch, timing, anticipation, on script, off script. He's maybe the most natural of all of them when it comes to it. Trey Lance is just a freak of nature as an athlete. Mac Jones, the tape is the conversation that everyone will have. Hey, look at the offensive line. Look at the running back, the playmakers. That said, give him credit for putting the ball in the strike zone. Those guys don't move often. They make plays. It's a lot of yards after catching that offense, but he does a good job of getting the ball so they can play. So it really comes down to style and the fit when it comes to your offense.
3, I think I want to go with 3. If you're in the 30, you're the San Francisco 49ers, you know the type of offense that Kyle Shanahan likes to run. Who's the best fit? Who do you believe is the best fit for that offense?
You know, it's funny because like Shannon, you can give him different examples, right? Yeah. If he wants the Matt Ryan, Kirk Cousins thing, look, Mac Jones is the guy. Mac Jones can do all this stuff that Matt Ryan and Kirk Cousins were able to do from the pocket. He can roll out, he can do all of that stuff and just deliver time and time again. But then if he wants that stuff plus what he was able to do with RG3, then it becomes Trey Lance and Justin Fields. And in that scenario, I would rate Justin Fields ahead of Trey Lance, but I can see why Trey Lance might be their guy. When you watch Trey Lance at North Dakota State, he gets up under center. He runs traditional pro-style concepts on one play, then he backs up, he's in the shotgun, running zone read. So when you think about the San Francisco 49ers and what they could do, he could make both of his playbooks and create a super offense with Trey Lance and those dynamic weapons that he has on the side. Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, the zone run game that they have. It could be terrific. And I say he could do it with anybody. I think the thing that he has to evaluate is, in the division, right now I currently have maybe the worst quarterback in the division. Can I get a quarterback that can give me a chance to overtake Russell Wilson, Matthew Stafford, and Kyler Murray? Which of those quarterbacks gives me that chance? In my mind, I'm thinking Justin Fields or Trey Lance would give him a greater chance to have eventually the best quarterback in the division over Mac Jones.
You want to go?
No, I'm good. Go ahead.
All right, back to your list, Bucky. I am sold on Trey Lance as the second best quarterback, and it goes beyond physical talent because I think he has the highest football IQ. He's a film study junkie. And what I love the most about this very young man who's still 20 years of age, he has always been careful with the football. His priority has been, I don't turn the football over. You can't buy that. You can't find it. It will translate to the next level. But given your list, you have Justin Fields almost a 1A to Trevor Lawrence at number 1. So I have asked Shannon this question 1,000 times on this show already. What are the New York Jets doing where they just sort of carved in concrete or in stone or marble that they are taking Zach Wilson? It's been out there for 2 months. Why wouldn't they take Justin Fields if you are right? Why don't we hear a peep about that?
I don't know. It's one of the great mysteries because when we were coming into the college football season, it was all about Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields. But we see this each and every year. Sometimes you can be on the stage for too long. And so you have to find a way to poke holes at somebody. Unfortunately for Justin Fields, he has been the guy that has been scrutinized. It is very reminiscent of the Justin Herbert situation. Justin Herbert had been on that stage for a long time. When it comes time to get to the draft, all we do is take shots at Justin Herbert and we kind of bring him down a peg. Then he plays and we have a love affair again with Justin Herbert. I think the same thing is going to happen with Justin Fields. When I look at the Jets, maybe here's where the influence comes from with Zach Wilson. Matt LaFleur, his brother Mike LaFleur, I think is the offensive coordinator for the Jets. Maybe the LaFleurs are having conversations. I gave you that comparison with Aaron Rodgers. Maybe that is filtered into, hey, this guy has athleticism. Maybe we could do some of the same things that they do in Green Bay. I don't know, but I think the conversation should be Justin Fields versus Zach Wilson, as opposed to just handing the number 2 spot to Zach Wilson. It should have been more of a debate than it seemingly has been up to this point.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.